In March of 2022, nearly $100 million in taxpayer money was invested in a COVID glove company that was supposed to bring more than 2,000 jobs to Sparrows Point. Now, 2 years later, that factory sits empty. Stefan Dingle has been digging into this story. He's on your corner in Sparrows Point tonight with more details.
In March of 2022, PPE company United Safety Technology held a press conference with local elected officials to announce the creation of a sterile glove manufacturing to meet dire consumer needs while the global economy was still adjusting to the realities of COVID.
This is a big deal, and we are incredibly proud to be partnering with UST as they create a state-of-the-art manufacturing facility producing nitrile gloves and other critical PPE.
Nearly $100 million in taxpayer money was invested into the factory, and the company promised the creation of at least 2,000 jobs, a boost to Sparrows Point that was acknowledged back then by Baltimore County Executive Johnny Olszewski.
But to see this building now be transformed from that manufacturing to a new form of manufacturing to both keep our first responders and hospitals taken care of, but also create those much needed jobs and opportunity, it really is special.
But now, 2 years later, the factory's parking lot is empty.
This company really part of the broader failure we have seen to rebuild our national capacity to produce PPE in the United States.
Professor Ting-Long Dai with Johns Hopkins Carey Business School says foreign countries like China already dominate the global market for those products, which, according to our media partner, the Baltimore Banner, is the reason United Safety Technology is likely doomed as public and private money has dried up and most American consumers opt for cheaper products made overseas.
They don't have a lot of options unless we can establish a kind of guarantee for stable demand, stable orders from federal government facilities, from NIH, from Hopkins. Unless we have a systematic program that provides a steady stream of demand, it's not going to happen.
Now, the company United Safety Technology tells our media partner, the Baltimore Banner, that they're still trying to see this project through. We also learned that a contractor is suing the company after they were stopped in the middle of their work in installing a deep water well inside of the facility. That case is now headed to a settlement hearing, which is set for July. On your corner in Sparrows Point, I'm Stefan Dingle for WJZ.
So, all right, now let's bring in reporter Jack Bologna, who's been researching this story for our media partner, the Baltimore Banner.
Jack, thank you so much for joining us. Of course, this manufacturing plant was touted by local politicians, as we just saw, who are now seeking higher office. Former Governor Larry Hogan and Baltimore County Executive Johnny Olszewski. What has been their response to the seemingly this failure of a business that was supposed to bring jobs?
Yeah, so I've not heard a response from them, but I think it's really important to note that the local and state governments did take a pretty different approach than what the feds did. The feds, gave kind of a grant of $96 million to this company, but the state and Baltimore County, they offered kind of tax incentives and conditional loans as well, but those were conditioned on the factory actually kind of being successful in hiring folks. So the state ended up not actually paying any money towards this facility. So state taxpayers and local taxpayers weren't I guess, on the hook nearly as much as just federal taxpayers, everybody.
In your report, you say you talk with the founder of the company, and he cites competition with China that Stefan mentioned. And he says this story is much bigger than just this Baltimore factory, that it has implications of other factories around the country. Have you found that to be true?
Yes, that is true. So United Safety Technology was actually one of 6 companies that got kind of similar grants from the federal government during the pandemic to produce these exam gloves. Only 2 of those 6 companies are actually producing gloves today, and one of them was an already established manufacturer, and they're not producing kind of the billions of gloves that we had hoped would be kind of produced by that effort.
Well, Jack, have there been other businesses that have received PPE money in Maryland and failed to deliver?
In Maryland, not to my knowledge, but this is kind of it is a broader national story of not just gloves, but also like masks and other form of PPE that the government has kind of tried but kind of struggled to jumpstart the domestic PPE manufacturing industry.
All right, fascinating report. Thank you so much for joining us, Jack. And if you'd like to learn more about this story and, of course, other independent reporting from our media partner, the Baltimore Banner, go to thebaltimorebanner.com.